3, 2, 1. Contact. 3, 2, 1. Action. Lights. Lights. Camera. Action. Up in the morning. Rising sun. Rising sun. Gonna walk, talk, chew, and blab till blabbing's done. Check. See it live and well. Yep. Oh, that was the previous one. Oh. Looking for it. I'm looking. Bear with me. There it is. Here it is. There and here and there. Oh, I stopped it. Yep. Bear with me. Thanks for joining me this morning, sister. Thanks for joining this morning, sister. Hello, eating. Eat on. Fell eating. Humble. Being humble. We're working on being humble today. Read Book of Esther, chapter 5, verses 1 through 14. Humility wins the day. That's what wins the day. Humility. As I read and expand on it, share some good information. Happy Mother's Day out there. All your mothers, my mother, family and friends, mothers, celebrate the day, their day. Thanks the big guy upstairs for mothers. They take us in when we need their love, care, friendship, and fellowship. Share a story, message, and a challenge today. A little bit longer this morning. Feel free to comment, follow it, what have you. Watch at your own leisure. Tailgating and emails turn to firestorms of conflict. I want to share that quick with you this morning. Tailgate the car too close, you might hit it, or they may hit you. Also, tailgating also involving emails, because I've been in trouble with emails, sending emails poorly worded, starts a firestorm of conflict. I remember a story where somebody had gotten in trouble for sending an email to their superior officer, ranting and raving against their superior officer when they didn't. It was somebody else that tailgated them. So, thank goodness nowadays your login times out. If you leave your computer logged in, you walk away, it times out. But when it first come out years ago, your computer would stay logged in for several hours or all day, and if you walked away and somebody else didn't like you and wanted to get in trouble, that's what happened. Somebody tailgated them, caused trouble for you and others. Another questions I want to ask myself, and others may be listening to help drive home the topic I'm learning today, is what animal best represents your typical approach to dealing with conflict? I'm thinking some people could think of me and think of Tasmanian devil. Or serving in the Marine Corps, learning to be a devil dog, Teufel Hunden. That's the Germans back in World Wars, fighting the Germans. The Germans looked at the Marines as tenacious and nicknamed them Teufel Hunden, German for devil dog. So sometimes when I get mad, you can call me Taz or devil dog or Wolf. Learn to be a good dog, not a bad dog. I'm gonna let the bad dog out. That's what happens when an animal represents me. Sometimes dealing with conflict. Bark and bite first. Ask questions later when you ask questions first. That's working on me. Big man says working on me to be more humble instead of tenacious like a Tasmanian devil or a Teufel Hunden. German for devil dog. Wolf. The good dog out, not the bad dog. And only the bad dog. And big man upstairs says, fight the enemies. Some examples that make me enraged, mad, angry, and conflicting. Insolence, mine or others. Disrespect. People getting mad over when other people get mad. Morning, Laura. Morning, Paul. Thanks for joining me this morning, Uncle Paul. Sister Laura. Say hello to your family and friends for me. Sharing Esther 5:1-4, and how it's coming to my mind. So it's bringing out past enragements and madness and angry, being conflicting with others, shooting first, ask questions later. Insolence that comes to mind in situations of anger. And I learned about Esther and Mordecai and Haman, and read about them this morning. I'll share that and how I interpret it. Feel free to comment and follow it. Have you? Esther 5:1-4. On the third day of the fast, Esther put on her royal robes and entered the inner court of the palace, just across from the king's hall. The king was sitting on the royal throne, facing the entrance. When he saw Esther, Queen Esther, standing there in the inner court, he welcomed her and held out the gold scepter to her. So Esther approached and touched the hand of the scepter. Then the king asked her, "What do you want, Queen Esther? What is your request?" And then he, without giving her time to reply, he said, "I will give it to you, even if it is half the kingdom." And Esther replied, If it please the king, let the king and Haman come today to a banquet I have prepared for the king." Esther is here demonstrating courage and humility. What ways? Other ways we think she's demonstrating courage and humility? Using her influence, risking her life to speak to the king without being summoned. With the help of others, or they prayed, fasted, and meditated before going in there. So she won the king's favor, touched the tip of the scepter, and the king offered half the kingdom without giving her time to respond, time to ask for it. He probably knew that she was coming in unannounced. He touched the tip of the scepter, and the king offered half the kingdom. She planned to, instead of asking for something else, she was thinking of asking to spare what was coming up later on as far as expected people to be persecuted. Instead of asking for them to not persecute people, she planned a banquet first. She'd been God-led. On more verses, because it gets interesting. I get into a story and keep reading, get more and more information out of the good book. Esther 5-8. Esther book 5, verse 5-8. The king turned to his attendants and said, "Tell Haman to come quickly to a banquet, as Esther has requested." So the king and Haman, I call him Haman, went to Esther's banquet, and while they were drinking wine, the king said to Esther, "Now tell me what you really want. What is your request?" He sees that she's going to the trouble wanting something, so he asked her, "What is your request?" "I will give it to you," he said, "even if it is half the kingdom." Esther replied, "This is my request and deepest wish. If I have found favor with the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my request and do what I ask, please come with Haman tomorrow to the banquet I will prepare for you. Then I will explain what this is all about." So she's still not getting to the point. The big man upstairs guided her being humble. It didn't work in those situations. What are some biggest hurdles we face when it comes to nurturing humility in our lives? Wanting to give up selfishness and bitterness. Sometimes I get bitter and selfish and make things worse, stir up the pot and be overzealous and pointing things out, what's going wrong, pushing my agenda and not Big Mam's agenda. That troubles me. If it pleases the king to grant her petition, perform her request, may the king and Haman come to the banquet. And tomorrow, I'll do what the king has asked. Yeah, she's definitely being unselfish and not showing bitterness over the fact that they either want to persecute their family and friends. So, but the plot thickens. Haman plans to kill Mordecai. In Esther 5:9-14. Haman was a happy man as he left the banquet. When he saw Mordecai sitting at the palace gate, not standing up, trembling nervously before him, Haman became furious. So he became bitter, selfish. However, he restrained himself and went on home. Then Haman gathered together his friends and Zeresh, his wife, and boasted to them about his great wealth and his many children. He bragged about the honors the king had given him and how he had been promoted over all the other nobles and officials. Then Haman added, and that's not all. Queen Esther invited only me and the king himself to the banquet she prepared for us. She has invited me to dine with her and the king again tomorrow. Again, another banquet. This is all worth nothing as long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, just sitting there at the palace gate. So Haman's wife, Zeresh, and all his friends suggested set up a sharpened pole, a gallows that stands 70 feet high, tall. In the morning, ask the king to impale Mordecai on it. When this is done, you can go on your merry way to the banquet with the king. This pleased Haman, and he ordered the pole set up. Pride. Why is pride so dangerous? Yeah, this situation, very dangerous. He gets boastful and selfish and mad over nothing. Over a situation like this where other people suggesting bad stuff, pushing their wants and wishes, not going to big man upstairs and guiding them. So they made the situation worse, wanted to do bad stuff to Mordecai. I can't remember if it really says anything about it. I think you have to read more to find out. There's selfish, jealous, and wanting more and more and more. Greed gets in the way. What are some helpful ways we've encountered dealing with anger and pride? Some helpful ways. Refer to Esther, pray, fast, meditate, and give. Keep it simple. Or others have run into others where they give bad advice, but other good friends of like-minded, and they give good advice. To pray about it. If I seek advice from a couple different people, and sometimes I get two lopsided different advices. One to do this, one to do that. One could prove more dangerous to myself, being bitter and trade blow for blow, and the other one said, no, let it go, turn the other cheek, or pray about it and come together and talk to it tactfully to resolve it, like men and women with the big man upstairs. So we're reading this, and it gets more and more interesting. I have to read more about it. Because what are some helpful, those are some helpful ways we can bring together good people is read, pray, meditate, fast, and give. Keep them simple. As a fight selfishness and bitterness with humility. It's my challenge to fight that selfishness, bitterness with humility by keeping it simple. Love the Lord, all my heart, mind, soul, strength, power, and strength, and love neighbor as myself through prayer, fast, meditating, giving. Because Esther risked much for her people and displayed wisdom. So she's an awesome person. Celebrate Mother's Day. Other mothers are just like Esther, sacrificing time, talents, and tokens, take care of their families and friends and God in their lives. Esther risked much for her people and displayed wisdom, patience, and humility in fighting the injustice she was standing against. Often standing up for others requires a humility that can only come from big man upstairs. I seek that. Morning, brothers and sisters. Thanks for joining me this morning. Happy Mother's Day. You give a chance to read more about Esther, the book of Esther. It gets real interesting how the tides turn, and God works in our lives for good, not for bad, as long as we seek Him. Everything we say and do. So lift the day up. May I have a happy Mother's Day, safe, sound, friendship and fellowship. We're celebrating Mother's Day. So it's Brent the Blabber signing off for now. Be blab, blue, blab, blue, blab, blue. I sleep. Some files, faithful, some five, never die. Fight selfishness and bitterness with humility by keeping it simple. Thanks for joining me. Well, have a good day. Sign off.